What's up, everyone? And if you joined us for that awesome game night last night, thank you for joining in. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me as always is the personality himself, Christian Anthony Lopez.
Woo!
And we are here to talk Schmo Down. Schmo Down, Schmo Down, Schmo Down.
First of all, we'd like to apologize for missing last week. Something we hadn't done in a very long time.
Yeah.
We are the worst, we know, and we're sorry. But that just means we have a super jam-packed show, and I got tons of thoughts, to put it lightly. Tons of thoughts on this show, because oh my god, this past 2 weeks that's going on has melted my brain. And we haven't even talked to I don't even think we've spoken of the singles tournament final.
We did. That was the last episode, because remember, the tournament final was the same day as Bibbs of the team match. We have the tournament. We have the tournament final, then we have the teams match.
Tournament final. Did we talk tourney final? I don't remember.
It's the teams match. That was the same day as the teams match. Because remember, the next week they put that teams match on Friday because we didn't have anything left from the tournament. Oh no!
No, you're lying.
No. I'm not lying to you. I just realized that. I didn't lying and forgetting. Lying and forgetting are two different things, homie. Because the teams match aired Thursday the next day. That's what it was.
We haven't spoken of the singles tournament. I told you I might have told you I watched it because I remember vividly. Yeah. I was driving 3 hours east in Oklahoma, and I had my the guy, my homie at work. I was playing it over the car's Bluetooth, the match. And he's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I'll tell you about it later. I just need to listen." But I mean, might as well, since it's been so long. And I bet people have already moved on. They'll give a shit. But no, I need.
Go ahead.
I need to flaunt. My God, Adam Collins. Oh, you, sir, Adam Collins. I know we're gonna get to some other things later that pertain to Adam Collins, but me personally, holy God, I talked on this show 2 weeks ago now at this point. And we were talking about how he's never been in a 5-round match before. He doesn't know. That's gonna be the big question mark. And both of us were like, yeah, that's gonna be the big thing we don't know. And he said, I got this, y'all. I got this. This man is the legend killer. Adam Collins, what a run for you, sir. What a run in the tournament. White, Roca, Harris, Meyer, Liz Shannon Miller, Jeff Snyder, all in the same tournament, and those are your debut. This is your debut year? This is your rookie season, bro? What else does this man have to prove to us? I don't know. He's one of the scariest people in the whole damn league. Jeff Snyder even admitted it in the post game at the freaking singles tournament. He's like, "Yo, I don't know what this man can bring, but he played a good ass match." It's like, bro. And I remember my heart sank. My heart sank when Snyder missed his 5-point question, and I'm like, "Yo, oh my God!" Because that run that Snyder was having was it wasn't a Cinderella run, but it was a return to form for Snyder.
Yes,
I was trying to prove himself to everyone in this league. It's like, yeah, I may be a kick-ass teams competitor, but I'm a good singles competitor too. But he ran into a wall, and that wall is named Adam the Coyote Collins. My man is out here rocking, and I will harp on this until the day I die. I said that Adam Collins was a threat before even the Roca match, bro. I had the receipts. They're on this damn show. Go back and watch the other shows. I said on this show, we cannot underestimate this man. And every single week, I'd come on this show and be like, yo, Adam Collins is the real deal. And I'd be like, nah, bro. That ain't it, bro. That ain't it, bro. Nope. He's going to lose, bro. And I'm like, nah, man. He's going to be good. And he wins the damn singles tournament in impressive fashion. By the way, the match was great. It was a great match between him and Snyder. Not my favorite match, not the best match I saw the whole tournament, in my opinion, but it was pretty damn good. Hats off to Jeff Snyder too. Hats off, brother, because you played a good ass match. Holy God, you can never forget about Snyder in singles, never again. Let me get off my soapbox. Okay, go ahead, please. I would love to hear your 2 cents.
Same thing I've been saying the entire tournament. Lucky break, lucky break, lucky break.
How do you go to sleep at night being so damn disrespectful? How do you do that? I really want to know. You're so damn disrespectful to Adam Collins. To everyone watching right now, I want to let everyone know at home that please don't associate my co-host's words with mine, and don't associate the crucifying you're going to give him with me. Like this part, let's move for the real. This part over here, we're all rocking our own on the same wavelength.
In the OK state and not the OH state.
That's great. We're both red. We're looking at these. Stay tuned to these. This is where the party's at. But no, what I'm talking right now is Adam Collins. Adam Collins, my man's in the MA state. He knows what is going on in the movie trivia Schmodown. He is a baller. You cannot deny he's a baller. You can't. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more disrespect. So I'll give you one more time, one more chance. Let me ask you again. All right, rewind. Hey Matt, what did you think of the singles tournament final?
Lucky break, lucky break, lucky break.
You're so disrespectful, bro. Why?
Nah, I'm just honest. That was my opinion.
You're disrespectfully honest. That's what it is. Like,
no,
you're so disrespectful. How?
That's not disrespectful. I just said he got a lucky break.
You said lucky break. He deserved everything he got. What are you talking about?
He got there on a string of lucky breaks.
What are you talking about? Lucky breaks. It's the nature of the game, especially a 5-round game.
I know. But hey, I'm just being honest. The wheel went his way virtually every time. We have not seen a run like that in a while. I said the same thing about. No.
We've never seen a run like this ever.
No, yes, we have. Yes,
no, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Paul Oyama's run.
He eclipses Ethan Irwin's. I'm telling you that right now.
He does not eclipse Oyama. Yes, he does eclipse Irwin. The run is the exact same right now. Just
how many matches did Adam Collins have to win the singles tournament? Tell me. White, Roca, Harris, Meyer, Lishen Miller, Jeff Snyder. He won 6 matches. He went 6
guess what? Hey, guess what? So did Paul Oyama.
For the season, Adam Collins did it in a tournament.
No, Paul Oyama went 7-0 for the season, buddy.
In a tournament, though? Did he go 6-0, buddy? In a tournament? No, he didn't. Stop being disrespectful.
It's a tournament, a season. It's the same thing right now.
No, it's not.
The tournament was a makeup for the season. And
the tournament was going to happen regardless. The tournament was going to happen regardless.
It wasn't going to happen at that size, and we even said that.
Know that. How do you know that?
Even when Colin and Blog said,
call you and tell you that, like, hey, yeah, Matt, like that's
no.
It's not gonna be that size.
We even said when Colin and Boggs won, we're probably not going to get a tournament of that size again. Let's be honest.
Do Colin and Boggs know that for sure? Why are they the voice of reasons?
I'm
talking about you. How do you know that?
We probably weren't going to get off of your Stephen A shit right now.
You're being disrespectful, and it's upsetting me.
I'm not being disrespectful.
Yes, you are.
If I just said this man's overrated, I'm not saying he's overrated.
Don't you even dare. I know you thought about it. I know you want.
No, I have not said.
I know you want to say that.
No, because he's hit his questions at a remarkable rate. I'm not going to call him overrated.
How many questions has he missed? Like 7, if that.
Something like that. It's under 10. I think he missed the most questions he's missed in the entire tournament in that tournament championship match.
It was probably like 2 or 3, which is insane.
Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and call him overrated, but I'm not going to act like he hasn't gotten lucky breaks.
Oh my God. This is my problem. I'm not saying like every single thing he's done is freaking amazing and that it's fantastic. Because you're right, he has gotten some categories in his favor on the wheel. That's the fact. And that's
almost the game. Every single time.
And that's the game.
I know.
So, with that being said, he excelled at the game during the tournament.
Let me see him get a category. He's not the strongest. Like, you've seen these.
He might not even have to face that challenge because of the game and how it's set up.
I know, but we've seen all these other people have to go through these challenges.
You can say that for everybody.
I know, but he hasn't yet.
You know what? I think I know what it is. You're being a hater. You're being a hater. Yes, you are. You say I want him to prove himself. Like, what the hell did he just do then? What? Beating Roca in his first official match in the tournament wasn't enough. And then going on to beat Lon Harris, who's had a great year. Going on to beat Brendan Meyer, who just won the damn tag belts not too long ago. Going on to beat Liz Shannon Miller, someone that you're super high on. And then going on to beat Jeff Snyder, again, a proven high commodity in the Schmoedown. And you're still out here like he got lucky. Like, that's all you could say is that he got lucky. Just say he's good, Matt. Just say he's good.
I just said I'm not going to deny he's good. I'm still going to admit
he's good. I want you to say he's good.
I said he's good already. I said
I'm not going to deny he's good. I want you to say Adam Collins is good.
That's the same fucking thing.
No, it's not. Say those words in that order for me. Go ahead.
He's good. But he still got lucky.
Oh, my God. You're insane. You are insane. Oh, my God. And I know there's some other things we're going to chat about. This is not the only time I'm going to rant about Adam Collins today because a man deserves all the luck he can get. But holy God, that singles tournament, if there was a pinpoint moment for the changing of the guard this whole season, like, yeah, we love the people who have been in it from the jump, right? We love the Merles, we love the Rocas, like Snyder's been in it for freaking ever now. Like, we love all those people. But this tournament proved like, there are a lot of up and coming names in the Schmoedown in its entirety. Whether it is Adam Collins or Liz Shannon Miller. Yeah, Paul Oyama's been in the game for a little bit now, but he's really starting to come into his own as a competitor. Same thing can be said for Chance Ellison. This year was incredible for Chance. They're really starting to come into their own, and they're all the younger players. The more, I don't want to say they're not vets, but they haven't been in the Schmoedown for 5 years like some of these other people have. But Collins beating Snyder was, like, to me, the official changing of the guard. Like, now Adam Collins is going to lead the charge for now. A lot of things can change between now and then of these newer players really making the league their own, making the league like it's not just going to be the Rocas and the Ethans, even though Ethan's been in the MTS for that long, the Merles and all that stuff. It's going to be all these newer names pushing the league forward because it's going to be a day where the Rocas aren't there anymore. And now we're going to be talking about Chance. Then we're going to be talking about Marisol McKee. You know what I mean? You feel me?
Sure.
You're the worst, Burr. But serious, like it's Collins beating Snyder was a changing of the guard.
No. I want to see him. No,
please.
I want to see him before I call changing of the guard. This, that, and the other. I want to see him in a studio match. That's all. I want to see him in a studio match.
Why?
Christian even said, "Do we get the performances we get out of Adam Collins if he's not in the comfort zone home?"
You're right. You are so right, Matt. 100%. But that goes back to my reasoning about Liz Shannon Miller that you vehemently denied. You vehemently denied, by the way. Your internet's on crack. So let me just state that, because I guarantee your internet's just as fed up as I am about the garbage that you're spewing out over here about Adam Collins. What, man? But I get it. Studio matches mean a lot. And it's a whole vibe. It's a whole different game playing in studio. And the day he does get to play it in studio, I'm gonna be there, right there in the watch party, hanging out with everybody else, waiting for my man's time to shine. But the same thing can be said about everybody else that debuted in this whole tournament. And especially, I will be the first person to harp on this. But when we're talking about Liz Shannon Miller.
Go ahead. Who's the other person in this tournament that hasn't played in the studio match and won as far as he did?
Hasn't played a studio match as far as they did.
There wasn't one. There wasn't one. That's the key. There wasn't one.
Okay, and
Studio's a different animal.
Are you going to put an asterisk by? You're going to put an asterisk by Adam Collins' name then?
No, he won. He won.
So what's the point? So why you bring that up?
My point.
So why does that matter?
You're asking. You're harping on me because I said I haven't seen him do it in the studio. That's why.
No one has. It's fact. That's fact.
I know, but Liz Shannon Miller going into the tournament, I was high on her. You want to know why? She killed it in studio matches last year.
Did she kill it though? What was her record?
2-1.
2-1 was her record. Adam Collins is 6-0.
Okay, you know who that one loss came to? Oh no, excuse me. Didn't I don't think it came. Never mind. But no.
Man, don't try to.
For a second there, I thought it was. I was like, wait,
flex on me, boy.
For a second there, I thought she lost Ethan Irwin, but I remembered she didn't. But either way, no, I don't. I'm not giving him the world like you are right now, without seeing a in studio match. Well, I give him respect. He's played damn good. Not gonna give him everything. Not gonna.
What's everything? What's everything?
You're sitting here standing.
What's everything? Tell me what's everything. I want to make sure we're on the same.
Oh, he's a changing of the guard. Oh, no.
Is that it? Is that all you got? Is that all you got?
No, I'm just mocking you because it's over the top.
So we're mocking each other now. Okay, so that's just so I know that going forward. But no, I want to know what everything is. Please go ahead and I want you to go back to that.
You're acting like he's the second coming. We don't know that just yet.
We all reacted the same way to Oyama. We all reacted the same way to Ethan.
All studio matches.
Bro, it's the Schmodown nonetheless.
All studio matches and then took the belt from Dan Merle. It
is all the movie trivia Schmodown nonetheless.
Different pressure.
It's still pressure nonetheless. My man was shaking in his boots and playing Roka.
Different pressure.
So you're gonna knock him down because of the circumstances?
Oh,
something that's out of his control.
Like I said, I will if he does perform the way he has been in a studio match, I'll drop everything I said. But until then, I'm not just gonna hand him always a second coming. Oh,
who said he's the second coming?
No. That's what you're acting like.
You said that.
It's the changing of the guard. That's might as well call it the second
for
coming.
Everyone, not just Adam Collins. Listen to the words I'm saying to you. I said it's a changing of the guard for everyone in the Schmodown. The tournament had a bunch of stars of people who weren't in the Schmodown 3 years ago. Keep that in mind. That's what I said when the changing of the guard. Don't act like I'm just talking about Adam Collins.
Hold on.
Listen to me. Play the tape back.
So McKee won one match. Okay.
He's still good.
No. Hold on.
And she played Oyama, another person I mentioned.
And again, what did I say? Did it in the studio. Let's see.
Jesus Christ.
Geraldo is in it. Draco, Ashley, Ellison, Del Rio.
Legitimizing these players just because of the circumstances that were not in their control.
I'm not.
That's exactly what you're doing, Matt. You're delegitimizing these people's performances because of the circumstances.
No,
that are not in their control.
I'm just saying I want them to be in studio. That's it. Homie.
We all do. What do you? We all want them.
I'm just saying I want to see how they perform in the studio when you do get the crowd around you, when you do get those hot lights on you. It's a whole different environment.
Of course it is. You're stating straight fact. That is all fact. But you're delegitimizing their performances now because of something. If I'm still saying
they're performing well, that's not delegitimizing their performances. I'm not just going to call it a changing of the guard because of situations.
Matthew, listen to the words that I'm saying to you right now. I'm saying that what you're doing is you're saying, oh, they're good, and then you bring up the fact that they're not in studio and you're delegitimizing you're delegitimizing the performance. And then you keep harping back to the changing of the guard statement. I will say this one more time. It's all I'm going to repeat it. I said in regards to every new face.
I didn't just say Adam Collins. I said, I am not willing to call anything.
I only mentioned two people from corruption.
He's your biggest argument right there. That's the only.
No.
He's the biggest argument you can have for a changing of the guard, and I'm not willing to give because McKee.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, Matt.
No, I am. Earlier?
I mentioned Oyama. I mentioned Chance. I mentioned freaking LSM, Shannon Miller. I mentioned all of them. I mentioned your girl, but now you don't want to bring her up now. You don't want to bring her up now.
Oyama and Chance have proved it on multiple occasions.
Oh,
what's this? What is this? They're what's this? They're Oyama wasn't champion for his full year. Last year was his rookie year. So
he's still new, damn it. That's what I'm saying, man.
But here's the thing. They arrived
if I would have just said Oyama, Chance, and LSM, you'd be like, oh yeah, Chris, I totally agree. But just because I mentioned Adam Collins now you're on
No. Already established play. I'm not counting LSM. I'm not counting Chance. I'm not counting Paul because they are already in the league, already established. Like
but LSM, that's still a part of my point, man. They're part. They've been a part of the league for over a year now, and I get it. But they're going to be ushering in this new era and this new presence within the Schmoedown.
Hold on, no. Two of them, Chance
broke out this year. Chance broke out to be the player that he is now, the 3 division player that he is this year.
Chance could have done that last year, and I'm not even the biggest fan of Chance, but Chance could have done that last year.
This was his year, bro. If he didn't lose the tag belt, if he would beat Dandapani, he's playing for you.
Did Chance win a belt last year?
When the Corruption beat
last summer, that was last summer. He won a belt last year. Oyama also won.
Every person that wins a belt is going to be freaking highly touted.
No. My point is they already arrived. They had 1 belt in there.
He won a belt and immediately lost it the next time he tried to defend it.
Okay, and so did Roca.
But Roca's a multiple-time champ. Like Bibiani, we all forget Bibiani was a champ at some point because he immediately dropped the belt. We still treat Bibiani as if he's that guy that doesn't have a belt because his freaking title reign lasted that short. But that's my thing, bro. But Bibiani's also done other things for a while now.
My point is, in my eyes, Oyama and Chance, they already arrived. So I don't consider them in this changing the guard. Okay. They're part of the established guard. That is my opinion. We can have separate opinions here.
Okay, no. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. When I mean changing of the guard, right?
You included Paul. You included Chance. You said you included them.
With Collins and Marisol, yes.
And I'm saying I already consider them a part of the previous guard, so I'm not. That's why I'm not giving.
How are they with Merle and Roca?
No.
Roca.
To me, the previous guard includes past champions.
Oh my God! Then why are you misinterpreting what I'm saying? I'm not saying what you're saying. Listen to the words I'm telling you, Matt. I said earlier. And I swear to God,
Chris, here, let's just drop it and agree to disagree because we're not going to see on the same page.
No, I want you to understand what I'm saying to you.
I understand what you're saying. I just vehemently disagree.
You're hearing me. You're hearing key words. You hear Collins, Oyama, and Chance in the same sentence, and you start losing your shit. No, I want you to hear what I'm saying. I said the old guard is players that the Schmoedown has had for years now. Years, Matt. Collins, or not Collins.
Yeah.
Roca, Merle, Riley.
That's what you consider. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is that's what you consider the old guard. I have a different opinion of the old guard. And that's why I said, let's just drop it and agree to disagree.
How can you still put Oyama in the old guard with Merle, Roca, and Riley?
Because this show went to a new level at the beginning of this year. And that's why. It went to a completely new level.
So we're going to disregard everything that happened before it then?
No. But
because before the year started, 6 months earlier, Oyama was still like the questionable presence.
No.
Capable of.
Oyama, we knew what Oyama was capable of. We saw him unfortunately lose to. I'm a Bateman fan, although right now I'm a loser. But we saw him lose to Bateman.
How he lost at Spectacular last year was a shame. Yes, but it made everyone question who Oyama was as the player. So
not me.
And that's great.
Players have bad games
for you, but look. He is still relatively new in the Schmoedown. He's going to be in the Schmoedown for a long time. You can't say the same thing about Roca and Merle. You can't. Or Riley, you can't. That's why I'm saying there's a fine line. There's a line of demarcation, and it starts and it ends with Merle, Roca, and Riley, and it starts with the newer players.
Last year was the final year you could be a casual movie fan and do well in the Schmoedown. That's my opinion. That's where the old guard ends. The new guard is this season and going forward. That is the new guard to me because there is a seismic shift in how this game takes place and how it's played.
And who are the names we keep seeing pop up over the course of the year, right? Like you get your Murrows, you get your Rocos. Okay, cool, because they were champs going into this year. but Chance wasn't. He made a name for himself in the tournament. And then LSM made a name for herself in the singles tournament. Freaking same thing for Oyama's been killing it in tags this whole year.
Oyama and Chance killed it all last year. Chance wasn't even a rookie yet last year. We've had 2 full years of Chance. 2 full years of Chance.
Chance is finally coming into his own, though. He's finally coming into that top tier player that we knew he could have been.
There are some of us who would argue that he's been the one carrying corruption for the last year.
And that's awesome. But look, I'm just talking about.
See, you have the hesitation. You're like, yeah.
No, because I agree with you, Matt. That Chance is the better player of corruption, but
he's been so for the last year. And this is why we're not gonna.
Mike was killing it last year. You can't deny that. And you saw him in the tournament.
Towards the end of it, that's when Chance was going higher than Mike. That's after that.
I wasn't so. It wasn't clear. It wasn't definitive that Chance is better than Mike. You cannot. Well, because you're such an.
Agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree.
I don't agree to that, but I'm just gonna stop talking for the sake of this thing. Let's keep going. Go
ahead. It's fun getting under your skin.
I'm glad one of us is having fun. What's the next topic, Matt?
Hold on, you're the one who sent me. All right. So let's talk about that Rom-Com match.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it was nice to see Makuga again. That's for sure. We got to see a little bit of the Makuga magic. Video Drew was a shock to me. And then you also had Brienne and Janine the Machine. Now keep in mind, of those 4 players, only 2 of them were really are really actually still very active. And in the end of it, the 2 that were actually still very active in the Schmoedowns, were the 2 that finished on top. And that was Video Drew and Janine the Machine. And Janine was, after that second round was over, you knew Janine was winning it. That's just how I felt about it. So,
I mean, yeah, I love seeing Miss Movies back was awesome. I love seeing Brienne when she pops up every so often. I share the same sentiments with Makuga. Makuga is one of my favorite competitors to watch of all time. Yeah, he may not have the best record, but boy, like the personality, there is no personality without Josh Makuga, you know. So I love seeing Josh pop up, and this may be one of the last appearances he has in the Schmoedown. If the pay-per-view in a couple weeks goes the way a lot of people online are thinking it's going to go. But
Cheddar Goblin says, how is it that you guys talking Schmoedown has been the most impassioned dialogue I've seen all day?
I'm passionate about a lot of things. It just depends on and it depends on how it comes down in conversation. But but the thing I took away from this match, because it was an exhibition. It was cool seeing the people compete against each other. Yeah, Video Drew and Janine were the 2 active competitors, at least compared to Josh and Brienne. But this was just another case of the intricate, like the one category matches that exceed expectation and that excel in some ways. I know we're going to talk more about the horror free for all in a little bit, but this is just another example of I like seeing stuff like this more often. And on the Patreon, a lot of that is obviously available for people and a little bit delayed for others. But I liked this Rom-Com match a lot, not only as a fan of romantic comedies, but it was a good time. It was a little more laid back. And like you said, Video Drew was a surprise to see in this match. I also agree, because I mean, but we don't know her. The persona of Video Drew is not like the real person, I'm assuming. So that was a pleasant surprise. But Janine's one of the more slept down players in the Schmoedown, and we've talked about that many times on this show. And this is just another feather in her cap going into the end of the season. When who did she play a couple weeks or like a month ago? I forget who she played. The Warfather. Or she played the Warfather. Like, again, it was another coming out party for Janine the Machine. So hopefully, once the free agency comes around, she gets picked up at the greatest of ease. She has a ton of potential still, and someone who when she first showed up, she had a lot of exposure in the Schmoedown, not so much since, or at least in the year of our Lord 2020. I definitely want to see more of her, and because not only does she bring the movie trivia, but she brings that personality that your boy likes seeing on the movie trivia Schmoedown. Like, not a lot of people do that, and I don't know what Janine's background is. I don't know if she has like a background in theater acting or just acting in general, but she brings it every single time. And if she doesn't have a background in any of that stuff, then good on her, because it's awfully impressive. But to me, the takeaways were Janine going into free agency and how fun a match like this can be. And like I said, we're going to talk about the horror free for all in a little bit. And spoiler alert, I'm going to double down my points on the singular category matches even more so then. But rom-coms, a category I wouldn't have thought got a match like this or a match type like this. Because I know the talk of the town the last couple of days has been, we should get a horror division. We should get a this division. Oh, geez, maybe we'll touch on that in a little bit. But no, it was a fun match. It was really, really fun. I loved this match a lot. Was it the best match all year? No, but it was a ton of fun to watch. I'll say that. Primarily from the people involved.
Yeah, that's where I was, because I was like, the match itself was entertaining, but the people are like, there were those second rounders, the second round in general, other than Janine, people didn't know jack. It seemed like, and that's how Janine built her lead.
It was, and maybe that's the problem with a match type like that, where it's just one category. You're gonna get more deeper. Like, so what would seem more difficult in a regular match?
Yeah, like Video Drews 2 was what year was the movie Valentine's Day released? That was her 2-pointer.
Yeah, so it's it was an exhibition, just to preface that, but it was a fun match. It was a lot of fun to see, and I hope to see more of them going forward on the Patreon, and maybe even in public for the YouTube.
I mean, it seems like Christian drops a couple of the patron matches at the end of the year to try to get people to as an incentive, like, here's what you're missing if you aren't doing it on the Patreon already.
Yeah, and I hope people get to see this at some point, because especially if it is one of Makuga's last appearances as a Schmoedown competitor, people should see this. So I hope at the end of the year, during that little bit of a lull that we have, because they're probably going to take like a week or two off, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out at the end of the year if we see this Makuga match in public.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's like I didn't have much thoughts on it. Of all the patron matches I've seen, this is probably one of my lower tier ones, I guess you could say.
Oh, like in terms of enjoyment? I think,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It was still nice to see, but yeah.
But it's the gimmick matches, because maybe it's me, my wishful thinking. Why I keep harping on the single category stuff is because I want to see the Schmoedown expand, and we got to see a little bit of that in the Bachelor match from a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago at this point. But that was just like the first sign of, yo, like they can expand outside of movies. But
yeah, but you're talking about singular categories. You can't allow that to be singular categories. Then you have to make it stuff other than movies.
Oh, because, no, like I'm talking like in the wide stuff. But I mean, and I'll mention this more when we talk about the horror stuff. So I'll keep that thought to myself for a second.
Yeah.
But the Bachelor match and the Rom-Com match, for now, until we talk about horror, like these matches can work if they do them more often. It's like the Bachelor match just proved that you can expand outside the movies and it be successful. Like, I'm waiting for the pro wrestling one of these days. I'm waiting for it.
See, stuff like the Bachelor and pro wrestling, I'll agree with. Others, like, it's
the niche things. You got to get the real niche thing.
Yeah, but it's stuff like, and I know, and I know why you're saying you'll get to it when we cover the horror free for all. But you can't just have it be what a wheel slice is. That's because then you're taking away, depending on how many competitors you have in that match, you're taking away. Here's a breakdown. You normally get like eight round one questions in a normal match. Then you get your 4 round 2s, and then you get your 3 round 3s. Using 8. If you have 4 competitors like this did, you're losing 24 in the second.
It puts more work on the writer.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting at. It puts more work on the writer. So you lose 24 in the second round. Not 24. You lose 16. 4 times 4. And then you lose 12 more in the final round if nobody gets knocked out before, or you lose up to 12 more in the final round. So you're looking at 30 some odd questions, and you still have other wheel slices that you have to prepare and write questions for that may not get used, and other questions. Like, putting together matches is not easy. I know Nick's been on the. We've had repeating questions in the Really Trivia. When you have just all of these questions and you've made so many documents, you can't remember which one's been. You can't always remember, I should say, which ones have been used before already and which ones haven't, because you get into such a groove. And it's. I'm just talking about in a case like ours. In a case like ours, they have a team. They have a team of 4 or 5 writers, so it's a little bit easier to track.
And this is the conversation that we can have, not here and later and with everybody else, because I do have things to say about that, but it has nothing to do with the movie trivia Schmodown. But I do get what you're saying. It does get it gets more extensive. You're asking your writers to really just pull more out of a specific category for like almost like 40 to 50 questions just for one match in rom-coms, or just one match in horror. But I think this is a decent segue into the horror match, because the horror match, that's what it was. You saw a lot of horror questions. I want to say there was more than 80 questions asked. And that's already pretty hard. That's just for one match. That's one free for all.
But that's also a free for all where you're gonna get an excess amount of questions. All those
they probably bank like at least 150, 120?
Probably to be safe, and that's my point. You have to make an excess because you have at least, let's see, there's 18 competitors, 4 were on screen at once. And then,
by the way, I love how they did this. I know it's not the traditional free for all, but I still thought the hype was there. It wasn't the same amount of hype, but I thought the hype was still there.
It felt like a traditional free for all, like in sense of how it was played.
It had my attention the whole time. Like, for fans of this channel, they know I'm not the biggest horror guy, but I still found myself enjoying the match, even though that it was only 18 competitors. And that it was strictly horror movies. I still found myself liking it. Granted, I've been watching this Schmodown for years now, so I'm a little biased. I would love to have someone's POV of them not watching the Schmodown and see how they watch this if they like horror movies. I would love to know their 2 cents. Or vice versa, if they just like movie trivia, watching this thing. See if they dig it or not. But the presentation was all right. Like, the 4 people per screen. At first, I thought, why aren't they doing 5? But my dumbass didn't register there on StreamYard. You
can do up to 10 on StreamYard. So,
but it looks gross.
Well, I was just about to say, but I get what you're because once you get past 6, it minimizes it even more, and it's just
it looks gross to see on the screen. That's why when we do stuff on here, I'm like, keep it to 6 max. I don't want to do any more than 6 because it looks gross post 6. At least from what I've seen on StreamYard. But the match overall, and again, it worked. Like, it blew my expectations out of the water, especially seeing the lack of one competitor that I bet we'll get to in a little bit. But seeing who was in this, seeing who was participating, watching the shocking eliminations after sticking around for 1 round or 2. Can we spoil this?
The free for all, yeah, it's up on the channel.
Okay, cool. So just I love how this free for all panned out. Like, it still gave me the free for all vibe. Yeah, it's not the same as someone getting a full entrance and walking down an aisle of people. That's going to be different, of course. But with what they gave us for something like they may be a one-off, they may do again next year. Who knows? This was fun. I had a lot of fun watching it.
I had a lot of fun, but their performances stood out for sure.
Oh yeah,
and that was Mark Hoyk and
MVP.
Adam Collins.
Adam Collins again.
If I remember, Adam Collins came in before Mark Hoyk, so I would have given Adam Collins the MVP because.
Do they do that though?
Yeah,
you can first MVP. Have they done that?
I think. Let's see, Bibbs. Remember, Bibbs got MVP for lasting the longest. Dan might have won, but Bibbs still got MVP. There's no reason to say you shouldn't be able to do both.
Well, they might have changed things up for this case because there were faction points on the line, unlike previous years.
But they're in the same faction, so that cancels each other out.
But I think they were trying to reward
Mark for his, and I get that.
Mark's simultaneous perfect rounds over Collins just sticking out a little bit longer, because I think Collins was just in there two rounds longer than him. But Mark Edward Hoyk is someone that I'm like, who is this guy? He just gave off that aura. I'm like, who is this man? And when he first showed up in the Schmoedown, I'm like, this dude is going to be something. And like his performances were a little up and down as he had done in teams and singles. I don't think has he done singles? He might have done teams. I
think he's done one singles match.
Okay, but primarily teams. But when I saw him pop up in the horror, I'm like, ooh, Steph, like this guy's awesome.
Well, that's been his strong suit when he's played.
Yeah.
So like his whole thing is Hellraiser, if I remember correctly. His whole shtick.
Going perfect as many times as he did, bro. Like I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but my God, like I felt like there was like 5 or 6 rounds where Christian was like, Mark Edward Hoyk, another perfect round. Like that's nuts. Like that's absolutely crazy. And yeah, Collins may have won the thing, but Mark was just on fire. He was on fire. And I'm so glad they rewarded him. Like, let's spread the wealth. Collins doesn't need the MVP title. Like, I like the fact that they gave it to Mark. Like, spread the wealth. They're in the same faction too. It's gonna go to the same people. Adam Collins was more than cool with Mark being there and just participating with him. And just he might have mentioned that it was an honor just being in the same faction with him. So just being, just sharing the wealth. I like that. I really dig that.
I was very happy. I was happily surprised, although seeing Riley choke broke my fucking heart.
Yeah, oh God, like he was in and out so quick, dude. Because when I heard Riley's name, I'm like, oh snap, this has got real.
And then he only hit like 2 questions. I was like, no.
Like Paul Oyama did better than him. Ethan Irwin did better than him, and they both got outed after 1 round, I think. Or Paul might have been in there a round longer, but it was insane seeing these juggernauts in Schmoedown history get taken down by a few horror questions, in a free for all. It was nuts to see it, and it added to the whole watch, like of not only like or we mentioned Collins and Hoyk, but give some love to Whitney Seibold too.
Yeah,
like another person who's had like the most terrible luck in the Schmoedown. He like Whitney Seibold
stuck on the Droogs,
and and I really they're going to change the name. At least I hope so. Make Ken the manager, name him the Knights of Ken. Yeah, and they'll be fine. But seeing Whitney show out like the way he did, barely squeezing his way through rounds, was fun to watch. But he deserved every second that he had in there, and probably even more, and more so. JTE making his debut of the year at the end. That was so dope. I audibly marked. I'm like,
I messaged Colin. We were like, oh shit, this is great.
It was so dope. I love seeing JTE in these things.
And of course, you finally get JTE, and it's a flame out.
Oh, I mean, yeah. But at that point, you had these juggernauts in it, so it's going to be hard for anyone to come up in here and try to dethrone them. And we had seen some people who were decent at horror. Shout out to The Tank, Tim Franco, he did pretty damn well in this thing too. I'm trying to think who else is a killer, but the Tank, Cybold, Collins, and Hoyt were all standouts to me. Yeah. Like all those people, they did really, really well, and they're in just a horror free for all. And I want to ask you this, Matt, because I watched the Rundown talk about this, and I want your 2 cents. I don't think like it doesn't need a big discussion. We might agree on the same, at least on the same front, but the idea of a horror division.
Hell no.
That's something. Okay.
It's for the same reason I was talking about Rom-Com. It put too much work on the writers, and it limits what you can do in the actual schmodown match. Because if you're having horror questions, you're gonna have to have a mixture of easy and hard in a horror round. I mean, in a horror match.
Yeah.
And then that's probably gonna easier questions you would get in a normal schmodown match. Like look at it this way. It's like Inner Geekdom. There's a reason Inner Geekdom has basically been squashed on the wheel. You don't get all the different ones anymore. It's a reason it's basically been squashed now for now for digital. But there's a reason it's been squashed on.
What? You're tripping a little bit, Matt. Your internet.
Sorry.
You're fine.
But it's very possible it could stay that way. The reason being, you need to be able to make things a little bit more fair when it comes to the normal schmodown matches. Like Star Wars. Look, I look at the Star Wars tournament. There were not a ton of easy questions in that tournament. Mm-hmm. Those were a lot of deep cuts because there's 9 movies, and they're like, no, we have to leave some of the easier stuff for the schmodown, the normal schmodown matches.
Yeah.
Inner Geekdom, you can't do that because, and I think it was a complaint all last year, and even going into the even partly this year. It's just a matter of these Inner Geekdom players, they don't miss. Period.
Yeah, and we've talked about that on the show a ton. Like Inner Geekdom isn't like you can't go in there based knowledge of all these things.
Because they're literally given a list of these are the movies that will be asked in Inner Geekdom. It's not like the movie trivia schmodown where it's every movie in existence, basically. And but it limits what you can do with a category in a normal match if you give that single category its own schmodown. Inner Geekdom is a little bit more manageable because there's so many different things in Inner Geekdom. There's Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. They do freaking spaceships and tech and all that. Like there's all these different categories that Inner Geekdom can be broken down into. You don't get that same thing with horror. Horror, what do you get? Your monster movies, your slashers,
your thrillers,
and then
horror classics.
Yeah, but then after that, it's a lot of just similar crossover because like, what are you gonna do? A category of kills, so now your players are gonna have to memorize who gets killed when in a movie.
That's what inevitably would happen.
And that's my point. It causes people to know too much, and it causes it. And horror's already, I feel at least, horror's already one of the tougher categories in schmodown because there are people like you and me who aren't the biggest horror people.
Clue.
So you put that on a wheel. Granted, I'm getting to the point where I could still hold my own. You hope and pray it's newer shit.
I like to think I know more horror than I do. I wasn't doing the best. Like I was playing along with this. Like I wasn't doing horrible, but I definitely would have been outed pretty early in round wise.
Yeah, but like it's just one of those things. What can you do? It happens.
I want to ask you something to follow up. So all those things you just said about horror. So why is Star Wars a division? Not that I don't think it should be a division, but I want to ask.
because they do more than beyond the movies. They tend to, I'll pull these out real quick. They tend to use things like these as guidance because everything you see in the movie, character breakdowns and all that, are included in these. So you can use this as a study guide.
Mm-hmm.
Horror, there's not these kind of things for every horror movie. There's 11, 12 of these.
Sure. Yeah. Like I want to straight up acknowledge that. Oh, go ahead.
And the fact that Christian is a Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. So when they started the Schmodown, he wanted to do a Star Wars Schmodown. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's one of those leagues. It's a niche league, but when you do have the matches, think about it. You had 12,000 people watching live for that Ace and Dumoulin finals match.
Yeah.
So
my only thing with Star Wars, right, is and I'm gonna be straight up, and I will cite Brad Gilmore with this because he put this idea in my brain, and I can't help but agree. But at least in regards to the division as a whole, I've talked about on this show before how I think the Star Wars division, it should just be absorbed by Inner Geekdom, and it just moves on from as it already is. It's already in Inner Geekdom, so just keep it there. I think. I don't keep the Star Wars stuff for the bigger events, because let's be real. In a normal year, does that Star Wars tournament happen?
No, but I think we normally get a Star Wars match whenever we have a big event. So,
but how many big events do we have?
Roughly 3 or 4.
And then if they do a convention, so five.
Yeah, but then you could also see him just make one a throwdown because he's talking about he wants to do more matches a week and all that because he wants to give these divisions more love. Like here's the thing with Star Wars. I don't feel like you can take that away with how established as it's been, partly due to the fact that you have people who specialize in just the Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like a Demolanta. Damon decided to break out a little bit when we saw some decent play in Inner Geekdom, but overall
I'll get to that in a second.
Overall, not the level of play that we get from him in Star Wars. We saw decent play. Mm-hmm. But you lose a personality like Scrimshaw probably if you take away Star Wars.
Sure.
You possibly lose a Demolanta.
Yeah, like Laura Kelly.
Yeah. You saw how Ace did in Inner Geekdom compared to Star Wars. Inner Geekdom was rough.
They fed my man to the wolves. That wasn't fair. Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Inner Geekdom was tough. Star Wars killed it. It's just one of those things. Star Wars, I believe, you keep around because of the personalities, and it allows a lot of crossover. Because if these people get the bug, they can start studying for Inner Geekdom and all this. But it's a nice starting place for Inner Geekdom players who might specialize in Star Wars, or potential Inner Geekdom players who could specialize in Star Wars.
And just to play devil's advocate, I mean, the same can be a lot of the same sentiments can be had about horror, right?
Yeah.
Like my biggest gripe with Star Wars is that there's not too many matches in the year. So the second there's more than 10 matches in the year, I'll stop complaining. On a normal year, because this year was definitely not a normal year. But Brad Gilmore, just go back to what I was trying to talk about earlier. He mentioned like Star Wars matches, great. Do we need a champion though? And that's where I'm like, oh shit! Like I wish I didn't hear that because now it's in my brain. Like how a couple weeks ago you mentioned Chance turning face and leaving corruption. That still hasn't escaped my brain. I didn't forget about that. And that's.
I didn't say he turned face. I just said he's leaving corruption.
Either way, you said Chance leave corruption. I'm like, oh no, like that thought's still in my brain as we speak. But Alex Damon being champ, okay, he's been champ for like 20 years. Okay, cool.
It'll be 2 in December.
But do we need a champion for Star Wars? I don't think so. It's because I mean. It's been a long ass time, Matt. He's been a champ for a long ass time, and excuse me, my voice is cracked. Long ass time. But But hopefully Ace puts up a fight this December.
Well, and I think here's the thing. I think part of it is Christian's biding his time until we can get a chance at Whitwer coming back. I think next to Merle Levine, Whitwer Damon is his dream match.
Oh God. But just to go back to the belt, you don't need a belt for that. You know, the belt isn't what sells that.
Oh no. Hear me out. Match. It is the last match of the Star Wars division, the Champion of Champions match.
See, now you're speaking my language.
But that's my point. That's where I was getting. He wants that match, and I think if he were to end the Star Wars division, it would be with that type of match.
And for those who are watching, don't get my words twisted. Like, Star Wars has produced some of the best matches that Schmodown in any division has ever seen. Like, I talked about it on this show a couple weeks ago when the Ultimate Schmodown guys were on. I said, like, one of the best matches I'd seen. I want to say someone else said it first, and then I just doubled down what they said. Knapsack Whitwer Iron Man match. I showed that match to multiple people, and they're like, "Yo, this match rules." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It does rule. This match is awesome." And I'll even go back to Force Bros and Campia Knapsack. Like, it was another kick-ass match. Granted, it was a long time ago, and the Star Wars division has had better players since. But holy hell, some of the best and most entertaining matches have come from Star Wars. So I don't want to just completely eradicate Star Wars matches, but I think over time we won't have a division per se, but there will still be an exist. Like how we have a horror, we don't have a horror division, and we won't. At least in my opinion, we won't have a horror division at least in the next year. I mean, Chris already said it. But
I don't think we'll have any horror. I don't think we'll have any category specific divisions outside of Star Wars. And I think the only reason Star Wars gets passes right now is because, once again, that's basically becoming an Intergeekdom only category for the time being. But who knows? Like I said, that could stick.
Yeah, I mean, if they take Star Wars out of Intergeekdom, then okay, cool. Like I can. Okay, cool.
See, you can't. That's one thing you can't.
But that's what I'm saying. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to take Star Wars out of Intergeekdom. Because to me, like, if I was like me and my wrestling brain, if the Star Wars Intergeekdom belt should just like bang collide and just become like one belt. But again, they know what I'm doing. I'm just here in my apartment watching as a fan. So, but all I want to say is that the horror argument, why there should be a horror division, the same thing can be said about Star Wars. The same exact thing. The only exception is that Christian isn't a horror fan like that.
Well, I was about to say, at the same time, Star Wars has this whole deeper mythology and mythos compared to, you know what I mean? I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a matter of taste. Because a lot of people like for me, like a horror division, it sounds cool as someone who loves to Schmodown. Ask someone who loves horror movies if they're going to watch, if they don't know what the Schmodown is, like, hey, would you watch people compete in movie trivia, but just horror movies? But Star Wars is already that dedicated fan base on the internet, which I totally understand why the division exists. Especially after watching it at Celebration, like, we should know what the shit looks like. Mm-hmm. Like, it's definitely, I understand why it's there, but all I want to say is that it's the same argument for horror, for rom-com, action, comedy, whatever the hell. Like, the same thing can be said about why Star Wars should or shouldn't exist. Here's the reason I vehemently disagree. You have,
because let's be real, like, comedy is more appeasable to the general audience. Action is, comedy and action, those are the two big ones.
There is 12 movies in the Star Wars division. 12.
Yes.
There are hundreds of comedies, thousands of comedies. There are hundreds of horror movies, thousands of horror movies.
Yeah.
Star Wars, you know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Horror and comedy and all that you wouldn't, because the library is so big, and then that's why I said it becomes a lot more way out there, deep cut. Star Wars, you know what you're getting, so it's not way out there because you know you have a chance to study for it. Mm-hmm. That's why it works, because it has such this limited material and content to pull from.
Would you be cool with an MCU division?
Yeah, I would.
But what's different between that and Star Wars?
No, I just said I would.
No, but I'm saying that's the thing, right? It's like the limited amount of movies. Like same thing can be said about freaking Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, I'd be fine with that, but because I'm more fine with the Lord of the Rings Hobbit one than I am MCU, for the fact of, once again, that's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit is 6 films. Star Wars is 12 films. The MCU is almost double that.
Yeah, but still an X amount of movies.
Yeah.
And it's a one slice in the geeking, just like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And arguably it doesn't go as deep as Star Wars, but there's more movies to cover.
There's more movies to cover, but you just hit why I'm not as in favor of it. It's not as deep. So you don't get those moments like you did with Ace when he pulled what was the violation on Canto. Excuse me, Canto Bite that Rose and Finn got for parking where they did. You don't get those deep cut questions in an MCU match.
You can get comic booky in a Marvel and MCU.
I didn't say you can't get Can you though? Can you? Like,
yeah, it's totally. I mean, if you're getting into the books and like the deeper shit, like you mentioned, all those books you just pulled out that are extensions of the Star Wars films, then you can still kind of.
No. The difference is this is character names. This is character breakdowns. This is weapon names.
Yeah, and I know we see a lot of that in the movies. Like, is every single thing in those books from the movies? Every single thing.
I would say 99.5%.
There's still things that are in that book.
Well, no, here.
Are not in Star Wars movies that people wouldn't know unless they looked it up.
Here, perfect example. Constable Zuvio. He's in this book, but he got cut last minute from the movie. Mm-hmm. But he's in this book. You don't see them asking questions about Constable Zuvio. That they still only ask primarily the questions of what you're seeing on screen. All this is doing is helping you learn a blaster name or the traffic violation name or things like that. That's all that this is doing. You're not getting that. Comic booky is a different thing because the MCU takes tiny things from the comic books and then molds it to fit what they're doing. Sure. So you can't get comic booky because this is still not almost purely what's on screen or what was supposed to be on screen. For the most part, it's what was on screen. There's small things, and they're like Constable Zuvio that isn't.
Word. I mean, like I mentioned from the jump, it's not that I don't want a Star Wars division. Of course, I want Star Wars matches. It's just how the Star Wars division is. I think it should change, and I think it will change. Maybe not next season, but in the near future. And one more thing before we move on. Adam Collins, you won the horror free-for-all. You sly dog.
And then you got called out by Bibbs, and I honestly do think if Bibbs was in that horror free-for-all, he would have won.
I wonder why he wasn't in it.
He said it was a schedule. He said he couldn't make the day they were filming it.
I saw the video he put up. I'm like maybe he just chose not to be a part of it.
No,
I thought he was
in the video. He's like, scheduling that was beyond my control. I couldn't.
Oh no, and I saw the video you're talking about. Like I was for like why he was like when I saw the 18th competitor and was JTE. I'm like, where the hell's Bibbs? Because I thought Bibbs was going to win the whole thing. If you told me a horror free for all with no Bibiani, it's like what? But the fact that we didn't get him, he was my favorite going into this thing, and he wasn't even there. And now now we're potentially going to see a Collins Bibbs at some point later next year. They had to emphasize next year at some point. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. But Adam Collins winning 3 more points for your faction, extending Corruption's lead after your performance in the singles tournament. Again, getting more points for your faction. If you beat Dan Rowe, you're player of the year. Like, And a case can even be made without beating Dan. Depends on how you perform.
No, I was going to say he could, because with Dan losing the team, unless Roca and Dan reclaims the team's belt, Adam Collins is the player of the year conversation, in my opinion.
Oh, so you think Adam Collins has it locked? Is that what you said?
I think he has it locked because of the situation we're in. But yeah.
Oh wow. Wow.
The winning the free for all is what gives it to him. If it was just the tournament, no free for all, I'd still say right now Dan Merle, but it's right. Like I can admit that's a neck and neck conversation.
It's a 2-man race.
Yeah, it's Dan or Collins, and Collins doesn't have the fact that he lost a title on his record this year.
Sure. And another thing is the teams tournament. Their individual teams performances in that tournament will be crucial. Because if Collins, say hypothetically Deception and Elite and freaking Founding Fathers meet up in the final, we arguably are seeing a preview of the singles match, at least the predecessor to the singles match, and they'll meet beforehand. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be awesome to see. But like, say whoever wins that, if either one of them wins that, that's where it's locked. To me, because they're gonna go on to play for another belt.
It's still not a lock for me.
Well, because I'm still saying it's between Dan and Adam.
I'm saying whichever team wins the tournament, that's secure. I'm like, it still doesn't, because if Collins were to beat Dan Merle for the singles belt, like Dan re-wins the teams, Dan's now lost two belts, and he's won 2 belts this year.
Oh no! Like if in that situation, in that hypothetical, I'm giving it to Collins.
But that's my thing. You're keeping it to the one, but there's this whole field of possibilities that's got to look at.
If like Collins, like in my opinion, I think the Deception is going to get out in round 1.
I do too.
I still got Founding Fathers making it to the finals, and then like I want to say I forgot who I picked. I want to say I picked
you picked the Weapons to go to the finals and play the Founding Fathers. That's who we both picked.
Yeah, but I forgot who I had winning that thing. I want to say I had Lethal Weapons winning the whole thing.
No, you said you did only because you wanted to be different from me, because I had Founding Fathers.
Okay, so
because you're like, because we were both like, we can see it going either way, but we're going to go with the team that we know has been there. Roca, I said Roca looking for redemption against losing to Irwin and all that. So,
but so like if Founding Fathers win the teams tournament, go into Spectacular, say they lose to Shazam, it's like damn, like if Dan loses twice at Spectacular, it's like that's gonna be a real kick in the gut, not only to him but to me as well. Like as a fan of Dan, it's like damn, like that's I don't think I could be able to watch that. But player of the year, 2-man race. It's Collins or Merle. And the team's tournament will play a decent part going into it, but their final encounter, the last match of the year, that's going to be the big.
I think depending on how it could become a 3-man, it has the possibility to become a 3-man race, but that's more dependent on if Final Exam can win the tournament and then come win the title, because Paul's had a good year too, and I think. Just if he got a title, he can insert himself into the conversation. That's where I was going with it.
If that's the case, then if we're doing that, then I'll throw Chance's name back in there. If he beats Chandra.
See, but again, Chance lost a title.
He won a tournament.
But here, Paul, he won a tournament. He lost in a tournament. Paul lost in number 1 contenders.
Lost to Roca earlier in the year. He has a lot of losses this year.
He's probably batting around 500 this year. Now that I think about it, maybe not Paul, but if I guess what I'm saying, if Paul is clearly carrying, and here I can't even say the number 1 contenders match against Shazam, Paul played well. That was Lon kind of missed.
Yeah,
that was, and that's
Paul always does.
But my point is, Paul, the Roca match was close if I remember.
Yeah.
Who did he played? Snyder. Snyder was a close match. You like his were a lot of it's just right there, and he's it's not like where Lon shit the bed against Collins.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, I think honestly, in hindsight, I think the winner of Oyama Snyder's winning that whole side of the bracket. So it's a toughie because if Paul would have beat Snyder, he would have beat Riley, he would have beat everybody in his path going up against Collins, and who knows from that point forward. But I don't think you can put Paul, even if Paul does win the tag belts with Lon at the end of the year, I don't think you can put him in Player of the Year contention because when Chance lost the tag belts, I think that's when you took him out. That's when people start taking him out. And then when he lost to LSM, people especially start taking him out. So racking up L's throughout the year does not help you at all.
See, but I think what's helping Paul's case is he lost to the guy who went on to the finals. He lost to the team that went on to win the championship.
Sure.
The only questionable L you could say is the El de Roca.
And it's like a questionable L, you know.
No, what I mean by questionable is because Roca he lost to Ethan the next match, because remember that was a continuation of what was being set up in March, and then we got the carryover whenever July or August, whichever it was. So it's just
I just think it's hard to include someone that has multiple losses on the year.
And I get that, and that's why I said it would depend on how they did, and specifically how he did while they're, because if Paul's putting up nearly perfect matches like he was before when Final Exam was playing, you have to, I'm looking at his percentage points right there.
And if Final Exam hypothetically beats Tom and Paul, then they go on to beat the Founding Fathers on that side of the bracket, then not only are you helping your own chance, but you're killing Dan's chance at the same time.
And that's my point, because they'd have to get past Dan. So that's why it becomes a 3-man race, because you just hurt Dan's chance. Dan now has to win Spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And you've put yourself in a position where you're playing it Spectacular for the team title. So that's why, because you're hurting Dan's chance, that's why it becomes a 3-man race, in my opinion, for that.
And yeah, and that's I get what you're saying, but if we're like, and I agree with you and I understand, but if we're doing that, I have to throw Chance back in there.
I can't put Chance in there, and here's why: Chance has one match left. Sure, it's a title shot, but it's one match. If Paul and Final Exam were
how many times has Chance lost this season? Twice. LSM
twice or 3 times. LSM, the
obviously
belt, Shazam.
I know not so many matches have been played this year for everybody, but
I think he lost to Paul earlier in the year, and that's the winner of that is who played Roca. I think.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
I'm scrolling through their shit.
What's going on?
Hello. But the like if that I still am rocking with the whole, if we're throwing Paul in there, I will throw Chance's name back in there. Based off of Inner Geekdom performance alone, the match he had in the singles tournament before he got the L to LSM was one of the better matches of the whole tournament. Chance, obviously, like we talked about on the show multiple times, he's the stud of Corruption.
Okay, Chance did not play earlier in the year.
Okay, so like Chance has 2 losses on the season, at least that we're aware of, and they're both valiant losses. And he was the star of Corruption the whole season, and even going into last season as well. And so I think his performance is
actually here. I will, because of this reason, I will say it becomes 4-man race, because we forgot Oyama was in the Inner Geekdom tournament and he lost to Chance then.
There you go.
But if they're both playing for a title, that's when and they both win. That's why I say right there that becomes a 4-man race.
And I'm only including Chance off of the inclusion of Oyama because I still am adamant that it's between Adam and Dan. Like,
and same. That's why I'm
trying to extend the pool. But to me,
but those are the two most logical players to extend the pool.
Right. If we're deciding right now, my heart is torn between Dan and Adam. Like,
yes.
If we're deciding right now, but we still have a lot of season left, a lot of matches left, and we'll see what happens.
And I know people might be like, "What about Bateman?" Bateman lost the title, beat a beguiled Andrew guy, and then he choked Lucas Black.
First of all, word of the day, beguiled. Good job, beguiled Andrew Guy. That should be his nickname going forward. And yeah, Ben. I think next year I think Ben Bateman's gonna come with a whole a fire. He's gonna come back with lava spewing out of his ass because he will be on fire the whole season. He's gonna bring the heat.
And maybe as a member of Swag.
Ooh.
Winston hitting at it on Twitter. Winston's like, I haven't mentioned. He's like, Winston mentioned he hadn't decided, finalized the 3 people he was going to keep. So,
oh my god, I don't want to think about that right now. Because that's totally. I don't want to think about that.
Because we keep acting like these managers are going to have total loyalty and keep some of these high-end players. I'm sorry, but you could argue that Bateman would be an upgrade over Oyama. That can be argued. You can try to keep. Yeah, you can. Oyama said goodbye, Lon, and then pair Oyama with Bateman.
That's not even fair.
But you seem like.
Oh no! Oh, but that goes back to my god damn it! I don't want to have this conversation again. That goes back to my thoughts a couple weeks ago when we talked about this of if Ace is champ at the end of the year. Do you drop a champ? I know I just talked all my shit about Star Wars, which I wasn't really talking shit, but you know what I mean. But if Ace is champ, you drop Ace. Like, do you drop a champ?
Yeah.
I think that immediately devalues the championship, though. I'm sorry, but if Ace wins the belt and Winston's like, yeah, swag, and he drops Ace, that devalues Star Wars.
Why should drop Naaman? Because those are players, since like we just brought up, since Star Wars has so few matches. Since Star Wars has so few matches, like we brought up.
Yeah, but my issue is that you're devaluing the belt. It's like, yeah, and that just goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the Star Wars division. Say, I don't care who it is. It could be Roxy, it could be Winston, it could be Dagnino, it could be Kate.
If anyone
drops the champ, you're devaluing the championship.
Look at me real quick.
Uh-huh.
You know I am a big proponent of the Star Wars champion or the Star Wars Throwdown, but I can be the first to admit that championship is the lowest on the totem pole, and it compared to the rest, it can be devalued. So
it will be devalued if that happens.
It can be. When I say it can be, I mean it's the one you can be like, I'm going to drop this player and take a chance on picking him up. And
now I feel bad for the Star Wars division because that's not cool. Like I didn't even think about that because if you're a champ and your manager decides to drop you in favor of somebody else who may or may not even be a champion, you're devaluing that championship and that competitor too. And that bugs me as a wrestling fan, watching many a title get devalued in wrestling history over the course of the last 20 plus years I've been alive. It sucks. And I can't even imagine if I'm a champion, hypothetically, if I'm the Star Wars champion, which I know in no timeline, on no earth is that ever a possibility. But hypothetically, if I'm the Star Wars champion, I beat Alex Damon, I dethrone the sandworm at the top of the mountain, right? And I have the Star Wars championship. And Winston's my manager. Yeah, Winston, high five. I got us points and a belt at the end of the year for that last pushing points. And Winston's like, I was like, oh, he's like, hey, bro, you want to be a part of Slag? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, too bad. because I'm picking the other guy who's won a one belt, choked it, lost it, and hasn't gotten back, or he's tried to get back since, but Lucas Black screwed him. And I'd be like, what? What, bro? But I'm a champion. And I know someone else will pick up the champ, obviously. The champ will get picked up. But I think the initial drop is going to devalue the championship. That's just my 2 cents. But
I think you have to devalue that. And this goes back.
That hurt.
I can devalue that championship in my mind because I want to be able to play. Sure, championship. Sure, they get you winning it. Gets you what, 4 points if I remember correctly, 4 points.
Something. If I'm being honest, we've gone this whole season. I still don't understand the point system.
Because the tournament changing of it didn't help it.
I still don't get it. I'm sorry, Christian, and to all the fans who are like,
it'd be easier if it would be easier if on that record page they have on their website that it included what win and all that.
Sure, it's a toughie, but I understand your POV, like dropping an ace in favor of a Ben. That totally makes sense on paper, but it's like, damn, that's a champ though. Like that bugged me if because wait, hold the phone. Hypothetically, so you're Winston.
He could keep Ace and still get Paul and Ben. Yes, that is hypothetical.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
So he keeps Shannon Miller because he has high hopes for Shannon Miller next season.
Yeah.
Great. He keeps Paul Oyama because we've been talking about Paul this whole time. Okay, great. What the hell about Chandru if he wins?
And see, I originally had him keeping Chandru, not Shannon Miller. I'm gonna be honest.
That is great. This free agency is gonna be nuts. Oh my god, it's gonna be nuts.
I have him.
No.
I have him keeping Chandru because with Smets now gone, Chandru is the premier Intergeekdom player. Unless Chandru loses and then Winston has a chance of getting a chance who wants to bust out and be the guy, then you get Paul and Chance who both play Intergeekdom, and then you throw in a little bit of Ben Bateman.
Keep talking. You're telling me, bro. You got me.
The swag big three. Then again, it becomes a stock exchange all over again because you're gonna have Bateman who's like, oh, I wanted to be the guy. Well, I wanted to be the guy. Oh, I want to be the guy. Paul might be the only one who's like, I don't care about being the guy. I just want to win. But the other two, ooh.
If I'm Bateman, I want to be the face of a faction, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And joining Chance, that's if I'm tired of the faction infighting. That's what I hope and dream for.
Here's the problem. We've seen how deep this is. You're going to get that from now on. That's gonna happen no matter what.
Hurts me. But no, I mean we can speculate here all day. Like I said, there's still a lot of season left. But dropping champs in favor of players who don't have championships, that just rubs me the wrong way. But we're almost an hour and a half.
It's players who have the potential to just keep winning you belts, and they're 3 division players outside of Bateman. You're telling me Ace? Yeah, I was just about to say. You're telling me that if you're Winston and you're given the opportunity to have both Chance and Paul Oyama, who both participate in 3 divisions, you wouldn't take dropping a 1.5 division player and Ace, a division that only plays a few times a year for guaranteed at least, depending on wins, 3 to 4 matches, guaranteed per player. So you're looking at 2 to 3 matches versus 8.
Man, I mean, I know what I do.
And what's that? I want to hear. What's that?
I'd do what's best for my faction. I'm not,
don't try to just say it. Be blunt.
I'd pick the people that can play multiple divisions that earns me the most amount of points.
Exactly.
That.
So So you would be so. Let's hear who would you if you're Winston and you have those two players. If you have to choose between Ace, Chance, and Paul, what two players are you picking?
I hate you. I pick Chance and Paul.
Exactly.
And
it hurts. It does hurt.
And that's the harsh reality that's going to happen. Because in my eyes, that's still devaluing the belt. Whether I'm picking it, you're picking it, Winston's picking it, my mom's picking it, it doesn't matter. You're still devaluing the belt. So, and it's a matter of circumstance. But we're almost at an hour and a half. I know on the docket we have a team tournament preview, but I'm pretty sure everyone already knows what's going on.
We've done one of those already, so
yeah, and we've done one of those. Go ahead and find it on the channel. We did like a month ago.
What our picks were again in this episode.
But just as a little recap, I do have Final Exam beating Tom and Paul.
And I have. I thought you were talking finals. Go ahead, continue.
Oh no, and I have Witching Power beating the Misfits. Spoiler alert: I have not seen that match yet.
I haven't watched it either yet, so I'm probably going to do it after this.
I'll probably be able to watch it tonight. I'm guessing Witching Power over the Misfits. They're going to lose to the Founding Fathers. Founding Fathers beat Final Exam. Final Exam losing to Founding Fathers. They advance to the final. Category 9 is going to lose to the Odd Couple. Lethal Weapons over Deception, even though that'll be the best match of the whole turn, best match of the first round. I would say right now. And then Lethal Weapons over Odd Couple, ending Odd Couple season, and then they're gonna go face the Founding Fathers. I have Lethal Weapons going over, but like I said on the show when we first did this, and how we mentioned earlier, it's a toss-up. And if you ask me again tomorrow, I might change my mind. If I think about it a little bit more, I think, Dan and Roca got this. But if Dan and Roca do take this away, then what else did I expect? Or what else did people expect? But I got the Lethal Weapons just because I think Andrew Guy has a new fire under him, especially with Ethan at his side. So, but at the same time, they could lose first round Deception.
Yes.
So who knows? But it's gonna be a toughie of a tournament, and I know we agreed for the most part on a lot of things, at least until the final. We might agree the entirety of the.
We agreed the entire way because you even it pains me to say that Deception's going to lose, but Deception's going to lose. I said Deception's going to lose. I said Odd Couple wins, Founding Fathers wins, and we both said Final Exam wins. So. And
the only upset I could see maybe happening is
Final Exam over Founding Fathers realistically.
Yeah.
On the other side,
Lethal Weapons on paper.
On paper, but on the other side of the match, we both had Lethal Weapons and the Odd Couple moving on. To me, that is an even matchup. There's no upset there. That is just straight up. Whoever scores the most wins. You can't pick that.
Lethal Weapons Odd Couple.
Yeah, Lethal Weapons Odd Couple.
Yeah.
That is a straight up just whoever scores more wins. There's no favorite in going into that in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 1,000%. There's no I wouldn't, if Odd Couple beats the Lethal Weapons, I wouldn't consider it an upset by any means.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, Odd Couple's second ranked seed in this whole thing.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, behind the Founding Fathers, of course. But that being said,
although you know how I feel, you can argue they're first ranked because unfortunately, you have the bracket that outside of the play-in match is nothing but proven teams, and the other side of the bracket gets two unproven teams versus two proven teams. So,
sure, and I wonder how that panned out.
I think it's because Founding Fathers lost. So
Founding Fathers are the one seed regardless. On it, you could shuffle these teams around. Founding Fathers still the number one team. That's why they get the play-in match. They get the winner of that.
Yeah.
But you could have moved the Final Exam Tom and Paul over to the other side, swapped some teams. But hey, it is what it is.
I think Christian just saw,
and maybe that's why Category 9 is facing off against the Odd Couple.
I was just about to say. I think you look at this. Christian saw the potential finals of Founding Father versus Odd Couple. You get the whole Jeff Snyder thinking he's in the GOAT conversation, and Roxy versus Dagnino, and and Roka versus Snyder. Ooh, Lethal Weapons. You get the Merle Levine drama. Maybe if something happens, we can set up a what if match.
Yeah,
and then you have the whole both of the founding fathers against Irwin, and then Roka versus, and then you get Andrew versus Dan, and Roka versus Andrew. So there's more storylines for in the final match by doing so.
And we'll see. Technically, it's already started, but tomorrow it goes live on the YouTubes. All that jazz.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe before Really Scared tomorrow, we can come on and talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
But last thing on the docket before we wrap up, we had a finalized spectacular lineup. We don't know an order per se, but we know the matches that are going to be there. So we have the singles match for the title, Dan and Adam Collins. Great. Tag title match, the winner of the tournament versus Shazam. Great. We have the Inner Geekdom. That's going to be Chandra and Chance. Great. Star Wars, Damon and Cabrera. Great. Smith and Sheridan. I think it's something else we haven't talked about on this show.
We talked about we did talk about Smith and Sheridan, because remember we went on that rant because we had that was the episode before Boggs was on, and we talked about it with them.
Yeah. So you're right. And then last but not least, we got a new, just out of nowhere, I think this kind of just popped up, but Chris Jericho is making his return to the Schmodown, and so is Brittany Young, and they're facing off against one another in another pseudo celebrity match, but
not at the same time.
But yeah, it's not, because I guess they're going to try and push that these are, to establish their.
You want to know what I find is missing from the spectacular? That really pisses me off.
What's up?
No manageable.
Yeah.
That is always
because there's too many there's too many managers technically.
Do it in a free for all format.
Oh,
wait, hold on. Here's the kicker. Do it in a free for all format of what the standings are.
Oh, have the bottom people go first?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because hear me out. Let me pull up these.
Oh my god! Just and make it like 2 points or some shit. Like, don't make it too much, because it's gonna be quick. Let's be real. It's gonna be a quick match.
Yeah, that would be a quicker one here. But you only put 3 people on at a time. Two or three people on at a time.
Okay, I'm gonna
pull up the faction standings. Well, because I'm gonna hold up the faction standings to show why I think it works. Because as we know, a decent amount of our managers used to be Schmodown players, and even Winston, current manager, has talked about possibly coming back sometime in the future.
All of them, I think, with the exception of the Den, right?
Oh snap! Don't tell me.
They've all competed.
What?
Everyone with the exception of the Den has a manager that's competed before.
Corruption.
Oh, Kaiser. And Corruption, yeah. Okay, so you're right.
Well, Kaiser's competed. Kaiser has competed in last year's manageable.
Sure, but I'm talking like regular competition.
Yeah. But
I know what you mean.
But hear me out. First 3 managers you get Ken, you get Kaiser, and you get Sam Levine.
Oh my God, it's not fair. It's not fair.
So Kaiser's probably first out.
That's if him and Ken aren't tied.
Well,
then they're both out.
I think Ken would be over Kaiser. Let me be frank.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Then you add in your next player, and that's Kate. No one knows with Kate, because from seeing that she has some decent knowledge.
Yeah, and she has to use that voice the whole time.
So then, but I'm still gonna say she'd be the one gone before Ken.
Okay.
Then you get the rock stars, Roxy, who is said on multiple occasions how she sucks at trivia, so you knock her out. Yeah. But then you get to that final 4 up top.
Yo, that's
because Koi can throw a wrench in that.
Koi can play 100%.
We've seen Dagnino somehow pull shit out of his ass before.
Yeah.
Then you get Winston, and then the ultimate wild card, Shannon.
Yo, dude, there's no way.
But you see why? How I sold? I can see I've sold you.
It'd be fun in theory.
In theory, yeah.
There's no way Sam doesn't win this.
I don't know. I don't.
Who puts up a fight against Sam Levine?
I think your two best bets of putting up a fight against Sam Levine in this match would be a Coy or a Winston.
That's so hard. And oh my god.
And realistically, I think the best chance would be Winston. And I think Winston would have the possibility of winning it.
Beating Sam Levine in the best of 5 questions?
Yes. Because I will wait. Chris, let me reason being, hold on. Reason being, Sam's weaknesses are Winston's strengths.
But that talk about going full circle now since we're about to end the show. Yeah. You gotta get lucky.
I know. But you gotta get lucky. But if Sam, if one question happens to be, let's say 4 they each go 4 for 4 in that round, and it comes on the last question.
Oh,
in the world of animation, you might as well count Sam Levine out.
I would love to know Winston's 2 cents on playing Sam Levine hypothetically. I would love his 2 cents on hypothetically playing Sam Levine in the match. Now, like Sam, who hasn't played in a long while, just jumping in and playing Winston Marshall. I would love to hear his 2 cents.
Well, you can't act like Winston's played recently. It's been about the same. They've been out almost the same amount of time.
If we're being honest, I think. I take my sentiments back. Sam, like they're both really hands on with their competitors.
Yeah.
So they're competing
with that's why I think that Winston would have a shot, because I've seen just watching Winston but. Here, I think Bibbs helps Coy prepare. I don't know if Coy has the same retention that we've seen out of Winston, who Winston is watching, like doing watch parties with his competitors, studying with them, talking about. I think Winston would be better prepared for something like this compared to a Coy.
Yo, I didn't even think about that. I'm throwing Coy back in there just because of
that's why I put Coy as. I'm like, Coy and Winston would be your best bets in knocking Sam out.
I'd put them both on the same plane.
I don't, because
I would.
Winston was already a better overall player than Coy when they both played throughout Schmodown in the past.
You're right, but how we only saw Coy in we saw him in a free for all thing before, and he was strictly in Geekdom before that, and even after that. But now, if you have Meyer and Bibbs, who are 2 of the best players in the league, you can even argue that the two best players in the league.
Oh, what's up, Boggs?
That's Boggs. Oh, yep. Snap! What's going on, dude? Dude, I know. Do I got to bring the flag out? I left it in my room. Do I got to bring the flag back out?
You changed the backdrop, Boggs.
This is my new thing up here. But. If maybe I'll get like a little Mexican flag, put it right here, just for you, Bud. Well, I'll see what I can do. But I'd still hypothetically, this is all one big hypothetical. If this even happened, we might be talking out of our asses.
We might be, but it's damn fun, and you know it. It makes
to me, Sam's the favorite.
Yes,
but Winston and Coy put up fights.
Yes.
If they're competitors,
upset.
I think if anyone beats Sam, it's an upset. Anyone.
Agree.
But Winston and Coy put up the best chances, hypothetically. It'd be a short-ass match, too. Because it's max 7 rounds, unless you go sudden death.
Oh, no. So let's see. You start off with 3. Then you at least add 1. So.
And that's if you're not dropping 2 people in 1 round.
Yeah. Max 7 rounds.
With the exception of sudden death in some rounds, because that may happen, or in the very end. And that's another thing, man. Like, if they go, if it's those 3, like Coy, Winston, and Sam, like if they go sudden death, I got Sam. But at the same time, it would be fun to watch because seeing the celebrity matches with the Young and Jericho and Smith and Sheridan, even though like obviously that Sheridan's not a celebrity, at least not as big as Kevin Smith, Chris Jericho, and Brittany Young, but I'm still going to consider a celebrity match because of Smith's inclusion, and those are going to be fun respectively for the because I actually really like Brittany Young when she faced Jada Paramo not too long ago.
She did well. Is it wrong of me to feel like I would have preferred the Civil War between the Wildberries to be a spectacular match?
No, I 100% agree with you. I understand why you need to pump out one more throwdown before spectacular, but come on.
You could have just done an Intergeekdom throwdown. You teased that there was a possible another Intergeekdom match before this.
That low key, with how crazy these fans are on the Schmodown, that could main event your damn spectacular. Like people would if Christian announced like, yo, yeah, Elliot Dewberry and Josh Bakuga main event spectacular, people would lose their minds. Like, yes, I know I'd be one of them, just because I love the Wildberries. But 100%. This should be on Spectacular's card, 1,000%. But as a throwdown, as the main event of a throwdown, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, we just about covered it all. Let me see. Let me look at these notes one more time. With my notes, Chris sent me.
But
you wanted to talk about the Bachelor match a little bit.
I talked about it briefly when we were talking about the horror and rom-com stuff. I really just want to bring it up because I found it awfully entertaining. I know jack about the Bachelor. Watching Aya Canetti and Vial do their thing. Is it Vial? I still don't know. Val? What is it?
Vial.
Nick V and Ashley I. I enjoyed watching them compete. Like I said, I know jack about the categories, but it was a great example and a great template going forward if you want to do other things in the Schmodown. Because they were like their categories for Bachelor were like group dates and like roses and shit. So I'm like, oh, that's creative. This is how you do it. And shout out to oh my god, I'm blanking on her name now. Oh my god. What? I'm blanking on her name.
Abby
Friel. Abby Friel. She was.
I was like, I'm not gonna give it to him.
I know it. I know it. Like Abby Friel. She was on the table with Mark, and like it was a good time. I really enjoyed that match. I really did, because it was just a lot of fun to watch, and it's a great template going forward. Give me a pro wrestling Schmodown. It could be Jay Washington and me. Let's do it.
It's probably the only Schmodown you can win.
But no, it was a really good match. I really liked the Bachelor match, 100%.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for today. We'll see you guys next week, where we'll have the first two matches of the teams tournament to talk about. The Witching Power versus the Misfits. And then I forget since I already have Schmodown pulled up, schedule.
Please. But in the meantime, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, go ahead and leave a follow or a like. Thank you.
Oh shit! There is no Friday.
Follow us on Twitter. Arizona, Nevada. I mean, voting was yesterday. For all that voted, thank you. Yes,
no Friday. There's no match this Friday. All we get this week is the Misfits versus Witching Power. And then starting next week is when we get the round one.
Here we go. But either way, we have some teams tournament to look forward to. And this teams tournament, it's gonna speak some volumes for some factions and some teams. Corruption's extending their lead, especially in the last few weeks, with tournament wins and free-for-all wins. Adam Collins really putting Corruption on their back since Chance and Mike were put on the shelf, at least until Spectacular when Chance comes back. But
and then leaves Corruption promptly after.
Oh god, that's gonna suck. Because you know it's gonna happen. But
it might not, because Chance seems like a loyal guy. I'm just saying. It
just depends on, maybe it's even another twisted move by Shannon Barney to drop. No, she won't do that. Either way, Thank you to everyone that was watching. Like I said, subscribe, like our Facebook page, follow Twitter if you're watching on Twitter. Go ahead and subscribe to the Schmodown itself. We put the little link ski right there because I mean, without them, what the hell are we doing? Nothing.
Exactly. Let me pull up all these little bit of
that's a house cleaning.
It's right there. Follow us at Facebook at Who Are They Movies, Who Are They Real Entertainment on YouTube, What_Real Podcast on Twitch, What Real Ent on Twitter, and listen on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and soon to be Amazon Podcast. So yeah.
Follow and if you can, subscribe to Twitch. We're playing games on Twitch, what feels like every other day. So
Connor and Taylor are popping up with their horror movies on horror games on Twitch, but also be sure to watch them every Thursday on Really Scared. And then also Fridays, Wrestle Reels with Nick and Chris, followed by Sundays with Real Talk. And remember, on November 21st, that time has been changed. This is an old graphic. Let me pull up the new graphic. November 21st, the Twilight Saga Watch Along, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. May have some guests. Could we have one the TUSS boys, the Ultimate Schmodown Show boys? Maybe both. Who knows? Could we have some Schmodown personalities? Could we have some people from the movies? You got to tune in to find out. So just remember we got that going on. And yeah, I think I covered just about everything. Trivia. Really Trivia Schmodown this Friday. We have Chris's new opponent after his antics last week against when he's supposed to play Nick and kind of screwed over that whole thing.
Sorry.
Chris versus Boggs this Friday. Be there. It's the Schmodown after show, Civil War to start it all off. Ultimate Schmodown Show versus Really Trivia, versus Spin from the Reel. Let's do this and have a good time. Chris, you better fucking represent.
Yo, I got the rep of the show on my back. I got the whole damn channel on my back. I got these nerds coming in and watching they were on their show. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic guys. They're absolutely great. Go ahead and watch their show on YouTube. But they're coming to our turf now. I gotta step up. So I'm gonna do it for the squad. Do it for Who Are They? More like who are those nerds from the freaking Ultimate Schmodown Show? I don't want to hear it, nerds. If I see you Friday, Boggs, what's up? What's up, boy? I got you. But it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a blast.
So signing off, I'm Matt.
And I'm the personality, Boggs. I'm the personality, Chris Anthony Lopez. Nevada, Arizona, what's up?
And this is another Who Are They Real Entertainment production. Have a good night.